Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome to this roundtable of the Sustainability and Environmental Action Special Interest Group of OHBM. My name is Sepideh Sadaghiani. I'm at the University of Illinois, assistant professor, and I am the chair of the annual meeting working group, one of 3 working groups of this special interest group. And one of the tasks that we have in this group is hearing from you what you want the future format of OHBM annual meeting to be. So this roundtable is really important. And I'll say a little bit more about that. Can I see the faces of everybody else who's here from the SIG? Wonderful. We have several members here that you find at the different tables as well. So they're not only here in the central streaming, but I hope you can join them at the tables. Look for the names of Johanna, Niall, Duncan, Hoeppli, Elvisha, Dhamala, and Borghesani, and hopefully also others here. These are the names that I'm already able to see. So really, the roundtables are here for you to discuss in small groups, and there will be prompts on the screen on a rotating basis that give you a little bit of information, but also some food for thought in terms of what to discuss. And after the discussion is over, about 15 minutes before the hour, I will then ask one member from each table to come back on Zoom and essentially report your ideas of what our meeting should look like in the future in such a way that it will be both sustainable and have as many of the benefits as we can have for this meeting. So the reason this is really important and the reason we want to hear from you is that one of the major tasks of the annual meeting working group of this special interest group is really crafting a report for council, a recommendation that represents the views of the membership of how we can move forward, be both sustainable after the pandemic, but also have all of the perks that we want in terms of in-person interaction. So really take this as an opportunity to be heard. And without further ado, I let the SIG members introduce themselves at the tables, just so we save some time. And I will just start sharing my PowerPoint presentation, which will give you some of the prompts for discussion. Also, the chat feature allows to share information that all of the tables are able to see at the same time in case you want to reach others. When it's time for the poll, I will let you know, and you can watch out for the chat and then select your choice of what you want the future meeting to look like. All right, let me start the screen share here. And all right, and I'll go off screen now, and I hope to see you at the tables. So if you're just joining, please take a seat at a table. Hopefully you'll find some of the SIG members there to discuss. Welcome back, everybody who is at the discussion tables. I also asked the SIG members to come back on Zoom, share their audio and their video. At this point, in a few moments, you will be seeing a poll on the chat. As soon as it's ready, there will be a lot of options that you can choose from in terms of alternative options for the future of the annual meeting format. There are the major candidates and then different combinations of those. I hope you had a good chance to discuss those at your tables. And while the poll is rolling out, I would like to ask the SIG members to one by one essentially share their discussions from their tables. All right, Vale, would you like to start?
Yes, I guess we have to confess that we were at the same table, so we kind of cheated in that. But I'm sure we will all highlight different things of the conversation. My take-home message was that we all see lots of pros and cons of different models of meetings. And I don't think we reach a verdict, if not that we clearly have to ask, like the first question we should be asking is what we want to prioritize and what we want to optimize for. We're going to lose something, we're going to gain something else. The real big question at the core is what are we optimizing for? That I don't know that we agreed on what we should be optimizing for.
I think we agreed that we could not keep going the way it was pre-COVID, that a change was needed.
Yeah, Marie and Vale basically said it all. Like we had a lot of discussions and couldn't really agree. And they're like, just, yeah, good and bad things to everything.
Could you guys say a little bit more about the positive aspects that each one of the major formats may have and which ones of those we might lose? And being just more specific, maybe from personal experiences that were shared at your table.
Yeah, I guess we started mentioning exactly our personal experience with personal meetings we had the benefit and privilege to attend to before these last two totally virtual OHBM format. And we definitely miss some of the spontaneous interaction and casual interaction that could happen in a real life setting. We feel like in a virtual environment, you might end up being even more isolated if you don't know who you're talking to, because it's so easy to just back off and disappear, literally disappear in the background. While in a real poster session, you're there in front of your poster, maybe no one will come, but maybe a big name, a big professor will read the title and stop, even if you are a no one, right? So there's something in the spontaneity and serendipity of encounters in real life that we would be missing in a totally virtual environment.
Yeah, and on the other hand, we had like the discussion that being virtual still allows like many people who would not be able to attend face-to-face to join and to participate. So like, yeah, we really had like these both sides. I in myself, I have like these both sides. Like I really would like to see people, meet people face to face again, because it's just so much more fun and so much more, so just literally so much closer, and it's so much more community. But on the other hand side, like, yeah, I also have a lot of other things going on, and it can make things easier. It can also make things harder because you still have these things going on and you're trying to attend a conference, like they just don't stop. And you have more, like you're more kind of lured into doing both, like kind of, yeah.
A lot of these points came up at our table as well, as you're sharing. The personal experiences we were talking about was also with focus on trainees, especially, that the in-person meeting is even more important for them when mentors can actually support them and introduce them to a larger network of other researchers. And really, we all have experience with how much that network is actually supporting supporting careers. There was also, as you shared, the notion that the accessibility aspect of the online platform, on the other hand, is really amazing for people who cannot, for example, for family reasons or for financial reasons, or just simply the distance, just cannot travel. They really have much more easy access to the online conference, especially as we move forward. Hopefully, we might be able to reduce the costs even of the online registration. One of the points that the membership may or may not have heard is that the platform we have this year is really partly developed in collaboration with the OHBM task force volunteers that are our own colleagues and have worked extremely hard to make a platform that actually can be carried forward, can be improved, and year after year be used. And that would bring the costs further and further down, especially for those who can't afford joining. So the accessibility aspect, but also the other point that you also touched on, the fact that life doesn't stop as it would when you travel, that everything else goes on when you're quote unquote just virtually joining. And it's really hard to find that discipline and also put in the infrastructure at your home to stop your other responsibilities and your other work commitments to really be fully there. These are all points that resonate with what we have discussed as well. Another important point that I thought is really important to integrate that I wasn't as aware of before was that it was brought up that in the hub model, where we would have, for example, 3 central geographic locations that are mostly local, so the flights are much shorter, but then they partly synchronize with each other virtually, may have some issues from a cultural standpoint, where if the meeting is enclosed in one location and there is some cultural kind of unease between the neighboring countries, or political rivalry of some sorts, it will be reflected in that meeting much more strongly than if it's a global meeting. So I think those points definitely need to be taken into account in terms of locations for the hub and spoke models as an alternative. So I think we covered some of the pros and cons of the in-person, of the virtual, of the hub, and any further points that you guys want to add in the last few minutes? So I said at the beginning of the meeting, really hearing from the membership is going to be key for the written, essentially documentation and recommendation that we want to make for the council over the next year. We will reach out to the larger membership to craft this really in a way that represents all of the membership's viewpoints, but also all the data and facts of what we gain and what we lose in the different formats, and really make hopefully come closer to an actual concrete recommendation to council what we should do, because this will be a compromise. We just need to find the best compromise between the different things that we are trying to optimize. So thanks for those who have joined us today to help us really craft that message to council. And we will reach out via email in the near future to the larger membership to get further feedback. I don't know if the poll is online on the chat here. If it is, please do go ahead and poll. And if not, look out for that email that will come your way. Thanks again. If you have any ideas that you want to share with us, please do visit our website. You find all our contacts there. And if you want to volunteer to join us, we need all hands on deck really to get this done. So thank you so much. And we'll still be at our poster in the SIG room if people want to come. We have another roundtable in a few hours, actually. So AM hours in US time. And so hopefully you continue engaging with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.